ultra runner David Roche. You probably know the name. He just smashed the Leadville Trail 100 record not long ago. And now he's got his sights set on, well, an even bigger goal, winning the Western States 100. So we want to cut through the noise. What can we actually learn from him? Things that might help, anyone facing their own endurance test, physical or mental.
And it's interesting timing, too, because his current focus, this big push, it came right after something pretty major happened.
Right, that bike accident.
Exactly. April 2024, a near-fatal crash. He said it was a real inflection point, a sort of, well, he called it a fuck it moment, like a sudden, really visceral grasp of how fragile life is. And that seems to have just poured fuel on the fire for these huge goals, mixing that dedication with joy and a very specific way of doing things.
Exactly. And that way of doing things, his methodology, we're aiming for less vague inspiration, more. Okay, what's the data? What are the actual strategies?
Where do we start? Maybe with the foundation, his why.
Because his motivation, it comes from a pretty stark place, doesn't it?
It does. He's very direct about it. He basically says everything starts with death and impermanence. That's the lens.
It's quite a statement, especially coming from someone who seems so positive, right?
It is. But that accident, that near miss, seems like it took it from being just a philosophy, an idea, to something very real, something driving him. It wasn't abstract anymore. It pushed him to really commit.
Makes you think, doesn't it? For anyone listening, what are the deep truths, maybe even the uncomfortable ones, driving your big goals? What makes them feel urgent?
So, okay, building on that powerful why, let's get into the how. David's training approach. Outside called it a MacGyver approach, which I thought was pretty apt.
MacGyver. Resourceful, experimental. It's not just about pounding out miles, is it?
Not at all. It's this interesting blend. Running, yes, but a lot of cycling too. Plus very specific speed work intervals.
And it seems to work, right? I mean, his coaching program, Swaps and Work, All Play, gets great results with top athletes, so there's clearly a method behind it.
Oh, for sure. It's not just random. He digs into sports science research, but then he's willing to test it himself, tweak it.
Self-experimentation.
Constantly learning, iterating. One of his athletes said he's almost uncanny at absorbing complex info and then just applying it practically.
Which, leads perfectly into maybe the most talked about part of his strategy. The fueling.
Well, yes. The carbs.
The carbs. Outside didn't pull any punches. They called his race intake perverse insanity.
A strong phrase, but you see why. We're talking, 120 to 150 grams of carbohydrates per hour during races.
Let's just pause on that number, 120 to 150 grams every hour.
It's staggering. For context, your average recreational runner might shoot for maybe 50 grams an hour. A couple of gels.
Right. And even elite cyclists doing these multi-hour events often aim for around 100, maybe 120 grams. He's consistently going beyond even that.
So what's the thinking there? Why so much?
Well, according to David, it's pretty straightforward performance logic. First, he thinks it lets him sustain a much higher intensity for way longer without, bonking.
Avoiding the wall.
He argues that even if someone else is fitter on paper, having that constant fuel lets him operate closer to his actual maximum potential during the race.
Okay, makes sense. And the second reason?
Adaptation and recovery. He believes it helps him bounce back faster. There's that quote. High carb tilts the table in our favor. I am 36 going on 22, and that's because carbs let me push harder on the day and then adapt faster than ever before.
Interesting. 36 going on 22. So it's not just during the race, it's the after effects too.
Exactly. And he doesn't just hope his stomach can handle it on race day, he actively trains his gut.
Right. I remember you saw this firsthand.
After a hard run, I watched him just down this huge amount of high-carb drink mix, immediately.
How much are we talking?
It was 48 ounces. Just slammed it. Concentrated carbs. It's clearly a deliberate strategy to make his stomach tougher.